banter on the midnight air. Grouch is crackling codes without a care. Rob's antenna reaching everywhere. Hamburgers on air once a month, you know. Yeah, live streaming those adventures, it's a show. Yeah, so throwing signals high and low. Marvin's got that frequency glow. Wall with tales of static gold, antenna tales that never get old. Every frequency a story told. These airwaves hotter than any bowl. Hamburgers on air once a month, you know. Yeah, live streaming those adventures, it's a show. Ears on throwing signals high and low. Marvin's got that frequency glow. Waves crashing, stories passion, airways full of passion. Dialing for the action, every month it's satisfaction. Hamburgers on air once a month, you know. Yeah, live streaming those adventures, it's a show. It's a show. Ears on throwing signals high and low. Marvin's got that frequency glow.
Well, welcome to another Northeast Ham Radio, guys. My gosh, man. Talking about, rushing to put out the little intro there too much. Apparently the audio was skipping around and not in sync.
Let me tell you something. You know, we've done now how many years of Clubhouse? Was it 3 years, 4 years? It doesn't make a difference. We've pushed a lot of music. That kicked ass. You need to show Shane about that.
Yeah, well, you have to talk to this guy over here.
Who is that?
That would be the Grouch.
Grouch, you need to school my brother Shane, and I'm gonna text him right now saying, "Dude, you gotta listen to this. That's badass, man."
He's close to almost putting out a full album, I think, at this point, right?
That's the music that you can go down like Route 93 in New Hampshire and you just punch it. You punch it. And you from the Northeast, you all know that highway. You come down 91, you come into Connecticut, you punch that. And I'm not advocating speed, and I'm not advocating breaking, DMV laws, but man, that's some rocking. Sammy Hagar can maybe learn something a little bit off that song.
That is true. That is true, my
friend.
Yeah,
I gotta check. I think because some of the songs, like I made a song for Live Free and Ham, I made a song for Weekend Warriors, I made a song for the Northeast, and I don't think that I put those in my music playlist. So I'll have to make some quick little videos for those. Just to throw those out. That way you can get a complete CD.
There you go. Not to leave Mike out. Mike, what do you got? 87. And Matt, what do you got? 80 that goes across Pennsylvania. So there you go, man.
78,
we can. Yep. Yeah, there you go.
We got 87. We got 90. 90 goes right by my house.
There you go, then, man. We'll just wait.
Yeah, definitely. Right. I mean,
I'm gonna be quiet so I don't get myself in trouble anymore. I'm just gonna stay here.
You can't get yourself into any more trouble than you already are. So you're good here. No problem there. As long as you get your vanilla nut taps and you get your donkeys, we're all good. So, oh man. So I don't know where we going to start this again, but yeah. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Live. Like I say, my gosh, see, I'm not even in the right. I'm going to go to a different show. I'm calling the Live Free and Ham here.
See what happens when you invite me on. See what happens when you invite me on. I throw this thing right off the rails. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Everything goes to shit.
Everything goes to shit.
Well, for those that maybe have figured this out, we're on the Northeast Ham Radio here, guys. We're just a bunch of guys just hanging out, being stupid, but it's all good. Oh man, so I have to say, man, we're diving into some cool stuff tonight. We're gonna get into it a little bit, but seems the chat is already buzzing. Got a bunch of people already hanging out there, so good to see a bunch of names flipping and flying by there. So say hello and make sure you give us a thumbs up and say, throw a 3 hearts. And maybe, if you're, so adventurous like a few others earning their, keep here, you can throw a few, free memberships in there, just to pad the experience. So anyway, well, we all know that, this is the Support Your Parks weekend. So any of you guys are, big POTA guys like myself, this is a big weekend. This is like our, I guess our contest, even though it's not a contest. I hate to say that word. And, coupled with that, this is kind of like a trifecta because ultimately it's Support Your Parks weekend. It's Easter for some. And as a bonus, it's also 420. So at any one given time, you can be high the whole entire weekend and it would be okay. For any whatever method you're going on. So just, let it fly, have fun with it. Just,
that
when you
dB, doesn't it? That adds 6 dB, doesn't it?
I would have to ask a few people here on the show that if that's proven or not, but it's always an option. Let's bring Michael in here real quick. Hey, how's it going, Michael? Good to join us. It's good to see you in there and welcome up. Anyway, so how is everybody doing since we're already alive and well and already, ripe for the picking?
Well, I just want to start by saying thanks, Michael, Tortoise Overland. You get to join us because you purchased 5 gift memberships.
It's your fee to cross over. It's like a tariff.
No.
You're paying sort of a tariff.
Not a problem. I'm joking, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, Paul is the
always,
membership gifted membership guy.
Well, I got to keep Paul busy. He's idle hands are the devil's workshop. Is that what it is?
Tools of the devil. Hey, and Mama, he's on TV too, right?
Right.
Wow, everybody's lives are boring. Nobody's got anything going on.
Well, you know what
Holy
I'm
crap.
doing this weekend? I'm getting my kilo.
What?
Are you really? Where?
Yeah.
One.
So
Which part?
I'm a little less than 300 away from Russell Abbott State Forest. That's my absolute favorite park around here. And so Saturday and Sunday I plan to go out both days. And it just blow that kilo away.
Nice.
Good.
150?
Good.
Yeah, dude.
Good.
That'll be fun.
Good luck, Grouch.
Well, the band
Is that
should be
gonna
good.
be your first kilo?
The sun's been an angry bitch lately, but it'll be my first kilo. So
Okay.
Excellent. Look forward to working you, man. Look forward to maybe working you. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
lots of park to parks should be all weekend.
Just-
Park
oh,
to
yeah.
park, park
Just-
to park.
Just
Oh,
do
yeah.
me a favor. Check the radio to make sure you're an upper sideband if you're on 20 meters. And also that you're operating way above 5 watts. We got to make sure of that.
Yes.
QRP this
He,
weekend.
yeah, he has a history of working the Netherlands on 5 watts.
That's funny.
He doesn't tell anybody he works QRP. He's that good.
Yes.
And remember, it's all on the wrist when you throw the weight over the tree, right? Not up, over. Just, those 3 things, man.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you will have a great, great activation.
Although I guarantee that Walt got a freaking phenomenal good laugh from watching me chuck the throw weight straight up in the air.
Oh my gosh. That I saw that. I was just like, dude, I can't believe you just it's like you just let it hang out there. You're like, hey, let my freak flag fly. I can't throw a weight over the tree. I mean, you are a seasoned POTA guy.
Yeah, but because I did it was exactly why it needed to be in the video. Because it just goes to show you, no matter how many times you've thrown an arborist line, you might just throw it straight up in the air.
That is true.
It's near impossible to do when someone's watching. If you're by
yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
it's so easy. But the minute somebody's watching,
Nice.
feel
I
like
know
you
the
got
wrench
15
works.
people. Yeah, but you feel like you got 15 people in back of you, and it's like why World of Sports here tonight, and here's Paul. Paul's gonna go. Paul is trying for his kilo tonight. He has to get the arborist a pouch up in the
Bag.
tree, the bag up in the tree. Can he do it? Let's watch, folks. Quiet, please. Yeah, it's like come on, man, stop it.
Yeah, trying to impress Salty Walt, and yeah, just threw it straight up.
Man, the pressure. I had more of a problem trying to understand the guy that we were with when we wandering around aimlessly. Like, I mean, Walt at one time leaned over to me after he asked to borrow his pen. He's like, and for one moment, I thought he was going to stab me with it. That's how scared I was. And I was like, yeah, I'd make sure I get that pen back too.
Where was this? Were you guys up north or were you in Rhode Island?
No, we were down in the Cape. We were in Cape.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah,
and I don't know how the guy did it, but he like changed his clothes multiple times, but the bathrooms weren't open.
Really?
They were not.
The bathrooms were not open. The man changed his clothes like 3 times, and he kept walking around with a like a straw fedora, and he'd throw it into a bush, and then he'd walk away from it, and then he'd come back around, and he'd pick it up, and he'd hold it upside down, and he'd just kind of look at it, and then he'd throw it in the bush again.
That wasn't the weirdest part.
I'm glad you're enjoying the spectatorship.
that was not the weirdest.
Well, I mean, someone want to stay here right now, but yeah, thank you, Mike. That's up.
P-Town has an awesome, like off of a race point. That is an awesome place to activate. Just where the other park is on the point. I love going down there when I'm down there to play radio and I'll give you those. You go down there during off season and you'll have nobody bother you. Well, except for when
that's the time. That's the secret weapon of the Cape. You got to go there before Memorial Day, or you go even early September. Still a little. But if you go late September, while everyone is up at the Big E and doing all the state fair stuff here, in the Rutland, Vermont fair and all this other stuff going on, Connecticut's got its 4 or 5 state fairs going on, county fairs. You run to the Cape. You run to the Cape in late September and in October, and it's like the world is your oyster up there. You really can do so much. There's no traffic on Route 6, hardly.
Or over the bridge.
Yeah, going over the bridge. That's the Bourne Bridge,
Sag.
right?
Sag. Yeah, the Sag too.
It's a great time, man. It's so relaxing,
Good stuff. Although, if you didn't catch on any one of our videos, that guy literally sat next to you. And this is testament to Matt's antenna that it didn't catch fire or anything. He literally sat next to his antenna.
Did he really?
I swear to God, 2 or 3 times while we were transmitting, he grabbed the wire. And
oh my God.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye because Paul's back was to him. And so I was like on the other side of the bench looking over. And when I look up, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just grabbed the wire. And I know we just finished making another contact with somebody.
That's like, call the lawyer quick. Make sure we're covered on this one.
Yep.
You're right. He was recharging.
That's what we thought.
What does that say? Let me tell you something, man. We all got a lot of antennas in our bag that we carry. That res antenna, and let me tell you something, man. I'm always using it, whether it's QRP with the 705, now the FT891, the 73. That is just an incredible, incredible antenna. I don't know what the black magic is. It's like the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if I really want to know what's going on behind the curtain, but I'm telling you, man, that antenna is it.
That and just the fact that I wish I could use my end-fed antenna, but every time I go with Paul, he's already got his antenna up in the air. So I have never had a chance to take out my actual end-fed half wave that I've gotten from Matt. And so at this point, I've used it as a giveaway because it's never come out of the bag because every time I'm with Paul, he's already got it up in the tree. So
it's just so easy.
Yeah, it's like spray on Pam, right?
Hey, real quick. Speaking of the Reliance antennas, Paul, did you get the email I sent? The WinLink the other day?
Oh,
or did you check
so
it out?
I did not. But however, when I got in the truck today, I've been running APRS, and don't ask me why. I've been experimenting.
What's wrong with you?
Shh, I've been experimenting. But
try
weirdly enough, the APRS beaconed, and then for a good 30 seconds, it showed a thing on the screen, and it was like, "You have a new WinLink email," and I was like, "Oh, what? I didn't realize that was a thing. That's kind of cool."
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
so
It
I
was
have an
sent
email.
with the Reliance NFED random wire. So
Nice.
Nice.
there you go.
Wow. Although, I'm still like sad that, I couldn't get Mike's SSTV scan fully. That would have been the cake, the icing on the cake, but
I would be afraid. I'd be like, kids, go in the other room.
Something's coming through.
No. Mike offered, and Mike's kind of one of our regulars on Livestream Ham, where he sends us stuff, and he offered to change our logo, which none of us were happy with whatsoever. So, but he did it via SSTV. Now, it was kind of hard because halfway through the recording, like we said on the our last episode, we heard a cough, and so it was like it interrupted whatever we were trying to scan. But wow, you asked for it, it comes up.
I wasn't expecting it to do it that quick.
Wow.
All right, what do I do?
Why?
How do
is
I
it
get
just
out
New
of
York
this?
State, though?
I don't know.
From very far.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes, Mike's simplistic color scheme, black and white.
Well, I
It's either
wanted to
black
try
or
to
white.
make it easy for SSTV and whatnot, but anyway, yeah, it was worth a
Were
shot.
you
to see if
using
I
the
could do it on
Reliance
the-
antenna? But were you using the Reliance antenna for this?
No, I used the voicemail. I sent it. I called them up.
Yeah.
And the voicemail, I played the SSTV. So their voicemail, and they
my
played
God.
on the. I just finished listening to the podcast today. It was hilarious. But so they go to check their voicemail, and it was on April 1st, just to kind of set the context. So on April Fool's Day, they get an SSTV voicemail, but they
Oh my God.
because it was sent, over a phone. It was trouble decoding. Paul could probably elaborate more on the challenges with that, but yeah, something fun to try.
That's exactly what it was.
Oh my God.
Waiting for AOL to connect.
Yep.
There's a whole generation out there that has no idea what those tones are. How sad
is
is that? That is
Mhm.
like, come on, kids. You
Or
gotta
heaven forbid that they even know what SSTV spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, I'd be surprised if a lot of these kids even know what a CD is anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God,
Oh.
that's right. When you think about it.
Oh, that and the
Well,
mini
like
CD. We all
The
forgotten
mini
about
CD.
that.
Or the
Ones that were
laser
like
disc,
small
the
little, like,
massive
yeah.
one.
Oh, there's the other one.
Oh yeah.
The size of a pizza pie.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, it makes
Mike's
it
right.
difficult to
Mike's right,
explain
yeah.
radio to people or to a younger generation, like my kids. Having grown up and knowing what rabbit ears were on a TV, and then listening to AM and FM radio in the car and all that, like they don't know what broadcast TV is. They don't know what AM FM radio is. Well, they know, but not like we did growing up. It's
Mike,
different.
now I understand why, because coming from a ham family, now I understand why. This is, okay, I'll give you the time error. This is mid-70s.
Mhm.
Yep, that's right. And when we a lot of us, we all had various antennas for TV. And when the bands opened up, like here in Connecticut, when New York stations came in booming, New Jersey, Channel 9 came in booming, we knew the bands were open. That was only because my grandfather was leaving the dinner table or whatever and running down to the shack. And being a young kid, I really didn't understand it until the last few years when it started making sense. But now that we're all on cable and or fiber, getting our live stream, whatever, it's weird now of how to tell when the bands are open minus an app or something else. He was just doing it the natural phenomenon way. When all of a sudden a certain TV channel came in clear, he knew bands were open, and from 2 meters to 6 meters to 10 meters. So
The good old days. When you could actually heat your shack with your radio.
Well,
With
it's
that amp-
actually it's
the
funny
amplifier.
that you mentioned that, Izzo, because when I first encountered Tropo, it was because of a TV. And that's when I first realized what was happening. I was at my in-laws' cottage, which is up near the Thousand Islands. And when I went up with my wife one weekend, she had my in-laws had said, "Hey, can you reprogram the TV?" And it's broadcast up there. There's no cable available or anything. And so they're like, "Can you rescan the channels? Like something's off." And so I did that. And when I finished scanning and updating the TV, I realized Rochester stations were coming in. Now I'm hours and hours away from Rochester, and I wasn't expecting them all the way up there. It's less than 100 miles as the crow flies, but I was like, no, this isn't right. So I grabbed my HT and I went out, and I had tried hitting Rochester repeaters from up there before, no luck. And when because I'm thinking, wait, these are VHF, UHF signals that are propagating like all this way, and sure enough, 80 something miles, simplex and also repeaters, no problem, just from the shore with an HT and a signal stick antenna. I was like, wow, this is it. This is what I studied. This is what I learned about, and it's actually happening. And then the next day, it's gone.
And as the world turned, this is how Mike became a VHF
when
nut.
that happened. I was to experience what you read about and see it works. Like this is what happens. So
I knew guys who when with all this like where we are right now in our solar cycle, and the aurora borealis is doing its thing and everything. The regular common people are like, oh, that's so beautiful, I gotta get my camera. We as radio enthusiasts want to go out there and and try, or like if there's was it in August, is it the Pleiades or is that December? I forget what it is, when the different meteor storms come through the area for our sector. There's a bunch of hams who just love playing radio during that time to see if there's any enhancement or what compared to other we'll call them the normal days. And it's just as ham radio operators, we are just so crazy. We get so excited about these natural phenomena, and it's just I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, when that happened, and then I learned I can just look at the TV to see if the bands are open, see if what channels are coming in. But I think we went down to 1 watt. I had a 1 watt, 70 centimeter SSB conversation with somebody back in Rochester, from up there. 1 watt, 80 something miles, perfect copy. And
we're not talking over the ocean. For those
that's over the lake.
Yeah, but still though, you're still talking about a serious terrain. We're not. That's like me trying to work maybe someone down in the Carolinas or Maryland, where you're going over the Atlantic Ocean. No, your terrain is totally different, man. That's a challenge. That's a serious challenge. So
it's all good, man. It's all good. I really wish I could get into more VHF, UHF stuff here. I probably could if I did it with most of my POTA stuff, but I just forget to bring that stuff. And, by the time I remember to get in the truck, it's like, oh, I could have done 5.2 or something. And, so yeah, it's got to be one of my goals, I think, is to do more of that because Mike, you have, you have shown us the ways, as they say.
What, do you keep an HT in your truck?
I usually keep it,
or you have 2 meter. You probably have like 2
I have 2 meter in the truck, and I've done it a couple of times. But New England around here, as a few people can pipe up, is that you throw something on 5.2, even if you're calling CQ. A lot of people think you're doing a radio check, and then they answer your radio check, and then they go away, and then nobody else picks up 5.2 after that point. So it's like,
oh my god, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is. It's New England. So, well. We got a little Support Your Parks weekend this weekend. So what's people's plans for Support Your Parks weekend?
Well, we know Paul's.
Yeah, he's going for the kilo.
Well, I'll jump in. I got we got a event my club has done. So I guess it's an annual now because this will be the 3rd time I've done it. And I've done it during the Support Your Parks April weekend. We call it a POTA Academy, and we usually get about 30 something people that have show up, and we have a cabin at the park and just play radio. And it's called an academy because those are what we kind of refer to some of the classes. Like next week we have an NFED half wave academy for building our own, but yeah, it's just going to be a good time. We got band pass filters for 10, 15, 20, 40. So we'll have at least 4 or 5 stations set up. Definitely going to have something on 10 and then maybe 6 or 2 so that some techs can definitely play. But the whole purpose is to just educate folks on POTA, especially newer hams who maybe want to get into it. and then those who are more experienced, have them Elmer others. But also, how it is when you all get together, like you start, looking at each other's gear and swapping stories and everything else. So it should be a good time. Hopefully, the weather cooperates, but we got a cabin that has a covered porch. So, rain or shine, like we can be inside, outside, we can be protected and stuff. So it should be fun. It'll be the third annual, like I said, and we should have probably 30-40 people out, hopefully, and should be a good time.
That's like
So it's almost like
day.
a field day then.
Field
I was gonna
day,
say,
isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Does
the
your club
challenge
do-
is, and I'm curious if you guys, especially with like club activities, encounter this is, those that might be new, it's always a challenge to sometimes get people to sit down and operate themselves. And they're like, oh, no, I just want to watch it. I just want to watch. And it's like, no, come on. Well, sit down next to me, and try to at least, do that. But there's definitely some reluctance. And, sometimes it is newer hams that are showing up. Other times it's older ones and they're just, curious about POTA. But, sometimes, people are shy. I don't think it matters how many years you've been a ham or how many weeks you've been a ham. That mic fright is something that I think is still an issue for those who are experienced or not, and that's kind of one of the challenges. But we try to overcome that and get people on the air and teach them how to log and explain how the rules work for POTA and everything. It should be fun, very hands-on in operating.
All right,
Cool.
just a quick suggestion that may be helpful. I've found that it's very helpful for getting new hams to be comfortable on field days, but have a pre-printed script.
Yeah.
Right, and so if you know, okay, this is the park, this is the park number, like just have a pre-printed script, and then you can go, all right, here you go. Just all you got to do is follow the script. It's nice and easy. Take your time with it. Like,
That's a very good idea.
I'm going to give you another suggestion.
Okay.
So when we were big into the field days back in mid 90s for about 8-10 years, new people, when they sat next to me, I told them, I'm going to log, but you are going to log too. It's not going to go in the log. Okay.
Okay.
I want you just to hear what I am hearing. And I want you to write down the call sign. There was a script up in front of us, like it had our club call sign, the identifier, and then the state, obviously Connecticut, Charlie Tango. And I told him, you're going to hear CT, you're going to hear Charlie Tango. Don't worry too much about but just on each line, every time you hear me acknowledge somebody. And then later, after about an hour, I'm done. But I kind of knew and back then when we had paper log, I would take my paper log off the clipboard and say, all right, listen, let's go get a soda. Let's go sit on the picnic bench away from everybody. Okay. I want you to show you. And then you could see, let's just say there was, 50. Most guys and ladies, women were so much better. Women remember everything. They're good. We know that for a lot of reasons. They're good.
They don't forget.
But it's amazing. The first, I'll as an example, the first 5, they're struggling, trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But you see them progressively get better. And I find that's like 50% of it because they don't understand what to expect to hear. Especially if they are so green. They've heard of POTA, they've heard of field day, winter field day. But if you find some real easy techniques, they're going to get hungry. And then you go back to them and you say, listen, I'm going to sit right next to you. And you can do one of two things. Now, you're going to log for me or I'm going to put you on the air. But like what Paul said, I love that whole script stuff because once they get into it, they get going in it. They find they find it, right, Paul? And all of a sudden, man, and I told them you can't screw up. You're not going to screw up. We're not going to put you we're not going to put you out of band, but we do want you to grab the contacts as correctly as possible. And it's a call sign, it's an identifier, and it's a state. Think of it as like 3 things you need. Don't worry about the signal reports and all that other stuff. And and they get it. And it's wonderful to start seeing them build their confidence up. It is fantastic. And as well as I love going to other field days and seeing what others do too. But the script is good. My way just happens to work with I'd say most people. It worked for me. because I was nervous too. We're all nervous.
Yeah.
We're all nervous. I remember my first 60-meter contact, I was nervous. Am I doing it right? Am I going to get in trouble? Is someone going to yell at me? No, they're not. No, they're not. No one's going to yell at you. And if they do, just turn the dial. Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
I even think, like, some of us
nobody's
get
gonna
nervous
yell at
just
you.
doing new things or different things, or even using somebody's own, a different radio that you're not used to. And you're just, if you're just not comfortable, you're going to be a little bit more shy or reluctant. And
Hey, Paul, remember the Y adapter that you and I used up at Big Old Hollow? If you could send me the link for that, I want to get that. I can't find it. I think I found it, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to play the game of buy it, and if it's not it, send it back and play that game. If you could, when you get a chance,
I'll text.
No big deal.
I'll text it to you.
But that is a great option for the headphones. A Y adapter for the headphones and a Y adapter for a microphone is really
Yes.
right, Mike, because it's a great way of, you're right there with them, but you're sort of like teaching them how to drive, whether it's drive the tractor or drive the truck for the first time. But this is a lot easier because you don't have to worry. Don't hit the Jersey barrier. Don't hit anybody else, and we'll be good. This is a lot easier. You're not hitting anybody. You know what I mean?
Hey, just keep in mind with those mic splitters, Izzo, both mics are actually live. So when one person keys it, both of them then become alive. So if you've got another person put a headset, it's the way it works, man. I found that out, and I when I went to look at the wiring pattern, I was like, oh yeah, both of these become alive once you complete the circuit with the PTT.
So as an example, Paul was what was making contact, but I did not push the PTT down.
It picks it up.
So you're saying it doesn't make a difference because he's keyed it.
As long as he completes the circuit. Yep.
He completes the circuit, so mine's live weather. Oh boy. Okay.
Yep. And it's not a big deal. I mean, you don't
we
really
learn
hear
it.
it.
No, we learn it.
Note to self.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
we learn on the fly.
You just want to make sure that you're not having a side conversation while the QSO is going on, because the other mic will pick it up.
Right.
But I stalked the comments section on Walt's video from our Cape trip, and everybody wanted to know what the Y splitter was and what the microphone was that I was using. And so
I hate that microphone. I hate that microphone.
I don't have any affiliate links or any of that shit. So I was just like, all right, look, here it is. Like, it's not an affiliate. It's nothing. This is what I have. If you want to know what I have, this is what it is. And I must have posted that probably 15 times.
Well, I'm glad I have passed the torch on, because literally when I did like my first POTA activation, I think I had it with you guys. Everyone like barraged me 19 times. Like, where'd you get that? I'm like, here's the link again. Here's the link again. It's like, look in the history. It's simple.
I'm sorry.
No, dude, it's all good, man. It's one of those things that nobody remember, like, especially if you have an 891. Like, you don't think of those things a lot of times, especially when you're setting up the gear with people. But now it's like I bring it with me all the time, and I know I'll have it. I'm at the point I really want to like see how I can daisy chain 3 together, but I know electrically it wouldn't work without a little bit of power. So yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
Well, they do make a 3-to-1.
Yeah, but at that point you're splitting the power voltage over the PTT when it connects, and so at that point that third person mic, they're going to be screaming into it to be able to get their voice heard, where the other two barely are making any audio out of it. It's cool. That's small little things like that just make the activation that much better.
Oh yeah.
So Mike, what are you planning? Oh, I'm sorry. Just
go ahead.
Quick question, if I can ask into MAK. So you're going to be at this great site, cabin. I'm sure there's a bathroom there, maybe a fridge, campfire.
Yep.
That's Saturday and Sunday too, or just Saturday?
Just Saturday. Probably from about. We don't get the key to the cabin until 10, so it's probably going to be like 11 or even closer to noon before everyone's on the air and stuff. But it's probably going to go just till like 3. I made 4 at the latest. I have I got dinner plans at 5:30 with a bunch of other folks, so like I got to be out of Dodge.
Mine is only for personal reasons, because I love talking to you guys and others. And I make these mental notes because like I got where I'm planning on doing, And I'm just trying to say, like, who can it? Because nothing is greater than working you guys. I love working friends. Nothing is greater hearing park to park. You hear the call sign or the voice, and you get so excited. It's like now, you know what I mean? It's like, and I don't care if I have to wait. I don't care if there's 3 park to parks. I'll wait, man. I don't care. As long as I work you, I don't care. You know, and to me, that's fun. You know what I mean?
Well, and I have to say, within this bunch of guys, you guys are very hard to work. I don't like it because of the skip and because of what bands you're on. It's almost like it's literally like trying to run DX because I can never hear you. You're either down in the noise or, you know, and I'm probably the same way to you guys. So like, I know
but
Rob.
40, I think 40. Well, again, this crazy sun the last, 5 days, 7 days.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Mhm.
But I think I want to concentrate just for local stuff for 40 meters. And, you know, because I'm going to have my Reliance antenna running. And I swear to God, I really am. I've already picked out, I have a brand new mast that I want to try. But again, my whole thing is how do I work you guys? Because 5 years ago, 8 years ago, we could work each other almost all day long on 40 meters. Now it's different. It's harder. You're absolutely right, Eric. It's tough for us to work.
Yep.
And everything. So
I put the
I don't want
call
to shift
sign up
gear.
on the screen. So
Wait, I don't want to shift gears real quick, but Izzo mentioned mast, and I've been in the market to buy a new mast. Anybody see the new 33 from K Murder?
yeah,
that's what I bought. That's what I bought.
H.
You bought it already?
Yeah,
The
the
H? Yeah. Why
The
can't
H.
they just say HD? Why do they have to call it the H? Like, that's annoying in and of its own. But I love that. I'm like, my gosh. I'm like, I really want to like trade all of my mass in just to buy that one because I'm like, that is super stout and girthy. Like, that should be just called the girthy antenna, period.
Once again, someone
girthy.
once again, something shiny was held up against me on a YouTube video. It's like, here's my credit card, take my money. And it came in last week, and I had some trouble getting out. Enough with the excuses. Tomorrow that mass will be extended, and I'm excited. between Matt's antenna, and I may also just throw it up on the. I have a Soda Beams. That's a 2040, and I run it as an Apex. But I'm thinking of taking his end-fed half wave and running it as an Apex on that. So I'm gonna try something new. What the heck, man? As long as you make 12 contacts, who the heck cares after that?
On Support Spark weekend, if you make only 12 contacts, Izzo, you've been running on a dummy load.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And you could probably just go up and down on the bands as a hunter in the park, as a park to park, and you've already, that's the fun of it all too. It's really a low pressure.
So
event. Think about it.
I'm curious, quick poll with you guys. Everybody activating at some point during this weekend?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Anybody planning on just hunting only?
Hunting maybe Saturday night.
Okay. I'm because of my schedule, and I'm missing our POTA meetup that we have for our club up Temple Mountain, which is going to be a great site. It's going to be awesome weather. I've relegated myself to being either HF mobile hunting, or when I'm in and around the car driving around with the wife, or running off the flex hunting. So I'm trying to target some like paper chasing for me this weekend in terms of hunting. So not the big awards, but just enough to be able to boost some of my current hunting records. So yeah, I think I've relegated myself to doing that just because I want to participate, but obviously can't go do it by an activation. Uh-oh. Links are going out everywhere.
Yeah, you beat me to the link.
you guys. So one of the things that's a big draw to that mast, I haven't bought one yet, but is
yet is the key.
I got
You will.
into
You will.
using off center feds and dipoles the last year, and to have and 9 times out of 10 when I've been doing that, I'm running RG 174 or 316 because I want to prevent the strain. I normally would use the MFJ 33-foot mast, which it's lasted this long. I'm surprised with how much abuse it gets put through, but I definitely can't put the dipole up, as high as I would want because it's so thin at the top. I have the Soda Beams heavy duty, the tactical 7000 HDS. That's shorter, but I mean, that thing it's massive. And that's certainly a good option. But see, when I watch Mike's video on the new the 33H, I was like, oh my gosh, I could use RG8X with a dipole or an off center fed and not worry or flinch, and it's going to be up 33 feet. Like that's
All right,
just,
I'm gonna give you some homework when you get a chance.
Yeah.
One of those times of take my money, please. And I
Mhm.
love this mask. It's from MGS, Mike Golf Sierra. They
Okay.
make these heavy duty interlocking, so there's no twisting, because I got that tennis elbow, which drives me crazy. It's got the interlocks. And I put my 6-meter beam. Yeah, exactly. Shut up, Paul. I've because I'm right-handed.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, is though, right? You're right-handed.
No. Let's just stay on topic here. This thing is incredible, and there isn't really anything that you can't put on it, and they make various versions depending on what you want to put on it. I went with a little beefier. That's what I always do. And it's just amazing, that thing. When you just go to the website, you'll see the different. It is a hardcore interlocking mast. It's for the serious ham radio operator. Yes, you're not carrying this in a backpack to go in. This is one of those, you throw it in the back of the truck, you put it in the stand, off the tailgate, under the tire, or if you want, you can put it in under as a
Is it Izzo?
That's them. They have my money. They have my money, and I love it. I love it. I don't get into this game of, am I going to lose some attenuation fiberglass versus graphite? I have never had an issue. I have the 32 footer. I don't think I have the 30. Was that 38? I can't see.
38. Yeah, 38.
Yeah, no, I have the 32 footer.
Okay.
Wow.
And
That's a beast.
and if you have to, you take your top section, and you can, just like with any mask, everybody forgets that. Are you really going to lose? Are you going to have a problem with a 3-foot difference if you take your top mask, and I don't care who it is, and you collapse in and you start with your second or your third? I think sometimes let's just use our head and let's go with strength and reliability of this. Yeah, because nothing is worse than that thing snapping in the middle. All of a sudden, you got that pile up running. You're going. All of a sudden, that wind comes, and you don't even hear it coming. Next thing you know, you see that thing just flopping, and all of a sudden, Reed or somebody, in Michigan or whatever is telling you, "Hey, wait, what happened to your signal?" Yeah, it's because my antenna's on the ground, because my mast just broke. That's frustrating, Oh.
Yeah, we all probably been through that, where the last section of every mass that we have is always snapped off, and at that point you're just like,
it's frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah, we're done.
Yep.
So I just started collapsing certain masks, like this spider beam mask. I like it. I don't use it a lot, and I mean that as no disrespect to them, but I've just found other masks just meet my needs. But that one tomorrow, that 33 POTA H, or the 32 footer, I want to see what this thing is all about. I've watched the videos. I watched it again last night. I think that little nub on the top is a very interesting, that was a good idea, wasn't it, Paul? Paul likes that idea, huh? You take a carabiner.
He likes the little nub. He likes that little nub.
I love how thick that top section is.
Yeah,
like
that last section. Yeah.
So I was on the Rhode Island beach activation when my Tenkara freaking mast snapped in half. Like, yeah, had it been that girthy, that bitch never would have broke.
Yeah.
Well, I've broken the tops of the Soda Beams, Carbon 6, and the Gocher, the fit, like the 7-meter, crappy pole, and I've broken those not because of the strain on them from an antenna, but just when I'm collapsing them, and you're trying to twist those little flimsy sections up at the top, and you just put like too much torque on it, and next thing you know, like it snaps, and it's just like, oh, come on, really? It's almost like, what is the purpose of having some of those sections if you can't suspend anything from it?
And here's the thing: I think we've all done this. When you get into this thing called POTA and you're trying to figure it out, yes, we could watch 100 videos on stuff, but our wallet is very important, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because we only have X amount of dollars. Let's face it, you still got to pay the mortgage, the truck, feed the kids, clothes, things in life. You still got to get through this stuff. So and speaking for myself, and I'm sure everyone's done this. We've all tried the painter poles.
Mhm.
We've all tried the various fishing poles, flag poles, and I've just learned. I started learning things started breaking because they're really not meant for our hobby. They're meant for its initial purpose. But we as hams, we like to defy it. We're like the evil Knievel. We're going to do it. And we're going to figure it out one way or another. And sometimes it does work, right?
I've got a question, Izzo. TN07 out of Tennessee has an amazing mast. I don't know if you guys have seen it at one of the ham fests. Phenomenal mast. I'm just curious what everybody's thoughts about those are. I mean, they're amazing masts, and the price is pretty good too.
I have his product for it. I've had 3 of his antenna masts. I have one right now. Started off as a backup antenna, and it's still up here all winter. Excuse me. I have his end-fed halfway. It looks like a grenade. It's sealed. Run it as a halfway. I've run it as a center, as a apex coming down. His antenna products are incredible. Very built, very, very well. But have not tried the mask yet. So
yeah, he's got the drive on. He's got a
drive on plate.
The drive on plates, and then a really nice mast. He all the ham fests down south he's always at. So
I have his plate. I forgot about that, Mike. I do have his plate, and I will tell you, for all the POTA I've done, that plate is still holding up. It's been in the rain, it's been in the snow and the mud, and it looks just as brand new and sturdy. I've had other ones that it just doesn't have that girth on that bottom plate.
Yeah,
like the other ones are a backup just in case. And
that plate is an interesting thing because like that was one of the things when I built out my ultimate truck kind of build for my HF setup. I was like, I just don't want to deal with the plate and the drive over piece. So I just went with the hitch mount, and I am so glad I went with it. The only problem I had to do was that the hitch mount was the coating that they put on it was a little thicker than it needed it, so I had to like shave down a couple of my poles to be able to get it to sit in it. But I'm glad I used the bumper hitch mount because it was just like the hitch mount was already there, so it's like why not use it? And I've never had to worry about
I'm gonna tell you a secret weapon now, and you guys can use this. This is no. This is not a patent invention. This ain't no Albert Einstein idea, but. In the back of my pickup truck, I have one of these big, heavy-duty Rubbermaid. It looks like a college locker. Everything is in there, from jumper cables to whatever. There's, my whole world sits in there too. Okay, I take that plate now instead of running it over the tire because I didn't want the side of the truck getting scratched. So I would take my jacket, a fleece, as a barrier. I got tired of doing that. I said, "Let me see. I have an idea." Threw that plate in underneath this rubber neck, so my tonneau cover comes up, folds over, so now my antenna is already, the mast is already up about 5 feet, and it stays there. So starting tomorrow, between now and October, that just stays right in there. It doesn't interfere with anything else I have in the back, and I just get into the bed, boom, drop the mast, put the antenna on top. Now tomorrow is going to be interesting with that brand new mast. See how that goes up and everything.
Nice.
If you're running mast, where are you using your ATAS too? Were you finally permanently mounting your ATAS yet?
I didn't. I decided not to do that.
Why, dude? Come on.
Nope.
Guarantee you will be happy. I mounted mine on my back rack, and I am so glad I did where I put it. And once I grounded everything else like that, I have never ever had a problem with my ATAS. The only thing I have to do is just take it off and put a little cap on the end of the thread when I go through the car wash. Oh, you want to do it? Go through the low pressure vents in the back of the cab. I guarantee you'll have no problem.
I probably could, but for right now, I like running that TN07 plate not under the tire, but like I said, it just slides right underneath because there's so much weight in that Rubbermaid bin of all my stuff, and nothing is going to go anywhere, and it just
makes a nice ballast.
Let me tell you something. I think on 20 meters. It just something about getting that antenna up a little bit higher. So if the mast goes up 22 feet, there's an extra 5 there. You're almost at 30 feet on the apex.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Right.
again, are we going to argue between 27 feet versus 22 feet at the end of the day of how much?
Doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't, right? It doesn't. We're
Mhm.
splitting hairs. There's a lot of other areas to concern of how to get the most signal up there.
Yep.
But like I said, hey, it works for me. So if somebody wants to try it, if it works for you, I'll salute, as they say.
Hey, what another
So
man's...
I just wanted to bring this up from the chat real quick while we're talking about the masts. So Boris says that
Boris.
the POTA 33H slid down on itself. Curious, Boris, if you mean the new one that just came out, because I don't know if that's shipped yet or not, or if you happen to have one, or if you meant the regular POTA 33.
Well, he says the new... Well, isn't the 33H the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that out? Is that like shipping right now, or is that?
I thought it was. Mike said it. At least I thought it from his thing. Oh,
Yeah.
here. You could
Okay.
always just go to the
Yeah,
page and find
it-
it.
Yeah, I've definitely had.
From what I
masts
understand,
collapse.
it's been out a couple months.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, he
Well,
said the
hopefully
new
you get
heavy
that
duty,
fixed.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they'll warranty it.
Oh yeah, he
it's
says the new heavy duty. Okay.
it's there. They still have them.
Eric, you got a burglar in your closet.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh,
try to get rid of
jeez.
them.
I got one in the bushes over here.
And Mike's got one in his favorite car in the back.
Yeah.
I got it. Hey, Boris, I would be interesting. The two sections that you can't get undone, or are they collapsed? Where is it? More towards the bottom, the middle, or the top? Because you may have that mistake can maybe work out for you as now you have some little bit heavier structural integrity, if that's the word, at a certain part in that.
Well, there's the mast. I mean, if you look at I did zoom in here. I mean, it's pretty girthy. I mean, especially like you get to this little section here, that's intense. Like they literally have a second
She's
telescoping. She's stout for sure. I'm impressed.
It's the mask my wife told me not to worry about.
That is true, Mike. That is true. It's the mask that keeps me up at night.
Ooh.
Hide that thing in the garage.
Yeah. Don't take it in bed with you. Your wife might get jealous.
Don't bring it in the house.
Put it in the
Now,
gun carrier.
Boris says he's only losing 20 inches, so I get it. He wants it to work as intended, but hey, listen, you have some structural strength right there. Yeah, with 2
Not
seconds.
all
20 inches is 20 inches.
that problem.
Yeah.
Hey, $20 is $20.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, 4 or
Lord.
5 sections are counting. Nice, dude. That's. I'm gonna have to buy it. Not that you guys have pressured me to do it. I already kind of had it in my cart. I'm just now gonna have to just press the button.
I can't see the money cost of it though. It's like, it's a big
It is
hole in my
expensive.
wallet.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but I mean, I would probably pay that. Like, so what's trying to think? DX Commander's replacement mask. What's that going for? Because I have to replace that too as well.
Hey, Chris just had an excellent idea. I never thought about that. Heat up maybe take like a heat gun on some lower heat. Don't use 600, degrees, but use something on a lower. Maybe that's all he needs to get that. That's a great idea. Mike, how many masks do you have?
Okay. So first mass was the MFJ 19 something or
You
whatever.
heat it up
It's
too much,
their
that
10 meter
epoxy will melt.
one. And that's held up really well. I then got the Soda Beams Tactical 7000 HDS because I wanted something that would collapse down a little bit smaller for travel and portability, but I wanted something that was going to be strong and stuff. So I got that. I have the Soda Beams Carbon 6 and then the POTA 20, which are very similar, except the POTA 20 is much more rigid. And I do have one of those Gocher fishing. I picked that up on like a Black Friday kind of deal for like 25 or 30 bucks. I figured just to experiment and try, mess around with it. You get what you pay for. It's inexpensive, and if somebody ever needed one, I'd be like, here, take it. I don't need it, but it's nice to just have something to toy around with and see, because it's those tend to be popular and expensive options. So
the reason why I asked, because Michael brings up a very, very valid point as far as if it's a cost thing for regardless of what the mast is.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. But like I said, when you've had 3 masts, 4 masts, and each one sort of has its intentions. One, again, if you do the traveling through the airports, or if you just if you're the guy who wants to put it in a backpack, like I said, that MGS mast is something you're not doing that. There are other, but I think we have to realize what the limits are on these masts, depending on how we're going to use it. And when we push it above and beyond, like I said, I use the analogy. It's Evel Knievel trying to go over the Grand Canyon. It's just not going to work. You got the wrong.
Yeah, just don't be looking down the mast when it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Leave it to Jody.
I get the price of these things. But I think after a while, you kind of get set into how many masts do you really need.
Yeah,
and
you need a couple.
I was gonna say, Michael, he says 1, but I say add a 0 to that at least. But because
Michael, why do you think you only need 1 though?
Because I have a 3/4 inch wrench and some string and an end fed half wave. I'm happy.
I love the wrench idea. That's just
and I get that.
It's so much easier to throw, Eric. It's so much easier to throw than one of those bags. You just take
an arborist bag. Yes,
finger, just whip it.
You're less likely to throw straight up, right?
Yeah.
Are you using serious question? Are you using an adjustable wrench or like a Craftsman, box and open end?
No,
is that what it is?
Just a combination 3/4 inch wrench. You can get a good it's got a good heft. Whoop, throw it right up there.
There's enough weight to get that up like 25, 30 feet.
Oh yeah.
Kidding.
Trust me, you get me mad enough, I'll throw a fucking wrench.
Just not up a tree.
Exactly.
just keep the dog and the kids not on that side. It's like playing. It's like playing the old game of darts or lawn yards.
Is that what
See,
we're
with Michael is
Lawn
you do not play a game of catch with Michael. That's just the way it goes.
No.
Now, my question though would be like, which wrench is better though, metric or imperial?
There we go. There's always one guy.
Which wrench do you want to lose, Mike? Is really what it boils down to. It's like
exactly.
which one's expendable?
Is it a Harbor Freight wrench or a Craftsman wrench or a Snap-on wrench? Which one do you want to throw over the tree?
And do you keep
the Snap-on always?
All right, so Michael, you said you only want 1 mast, but how many wrenches do you bring out with you? Do you have a spare?
N+1.
You see where I'm going with this?
In the commercial radio,
right?
I work in the commercial radio industry, so I always have a plethora of 3/4 and 19 millimeter wrenches.
All right, that's my point. So that's my point. You have access to many wrenches. You should have at least access to 2 or 3 masts.
He could, but why
tell you what
does he
I'll
need
do.
it? He's got wrenches.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be going through my garage in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If I have something that I really haven't been using, I'll send it your way. And if you want it, you can do whatever you want with it. I will gift it forward.
Okay.
Because a ham should not just have 1 mast. You can't just have 1 mast.
That's all I got. I got 1.
I was just gonna say, right? If you're Paul, you have almost 100% track record of getting it over the tree, except for the one time.
Yeah.
If I find an extra one, I'm going to send you the second one up to Paul.
Yeah,
you guys are giving me odds enough.
And it makes it interesting.
What happened?
No, it just skipped.
Oh.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect answer, Mike. That's like N+1. The N value is never, an absolute. It's always a variable.
No. different
I mean, man-
circumstances, you know, whether it's
And-
travel or
And when
if-
the
if-
wrench hits the tree, it makes a wonderful sound.
It does. You know whether the tree is healthy or not. It literally it bounces off, or
Do you
it goes
find a
through.
pine tree? Does a pine
Oh.
tree make a different sound versus a birch or an oak or something? I mean,
Only when you pull the wire down does it make a different sound, because it's every bough that you break on the
Yeah.
way down, because it's all rotted out, because that's the closest boughs you could get to. Yeah, that is my only fear.
Exactly.
Like I don't do enough wire antennas, and I always
Exactly.
I always leave it to the experts, obviously Paul,
He not.
but in my case, I can set up a vertical antenna in less than 5 minutes. You know, you give me a contest, I could probably get my vertical up faster than Paul could get his wire up in the tree. But you know, that's just experience. That is, you know, I used to use sockets.
The number of 10 millimeters that have fallen out of vehicles all over the freaking world has got to be astounding.
really, guys? Are you serious? Is that
only
like
if
a
you could
common-
find them.
But Eric, you just brought
Yeah,
up a good
exactly.
point. Using sockets. I would think, is a socket easier?
Only the bigger ones, and those are usually the ones you really need, because that, like, once you get it up in the tree or you lose it in the woods because the bad knot you tied through it just comes unraveled as it went over the tree, it ends up becoming the socket that I need to go back to like Lowe's or Home Depot to buy, because I have to do a repair on my truck because that was the size I used. But you know,
All right.
it just kind of.
So I'm
boils
going to
down
tell
to
you
that.
a story, and it's not where I live now. I swear to God, this is true. Tried it with a socket one time, lost the socket. All of a sudden, a couple weeks later, I hear the neighbor all of a sudden with his lawnmower. Oh boy, was he mad, because he didn't see the shiny thing in the grass. Another time, I tried taking a hockey puck, and then I took some electrical tape around it, trying to like crisscross. It just didn't. I figured the weight of the hockey puck would do it, and I learned it's not it. I finally bought one of these things. It's called a potato gun. It's a pneumatic tubular. I mean, that thing, let me tell you something. That thing can, you come over my house at 3:00 in the morning and I don't know who you are. Let me tell you something. My 2-ounce sinker is going to go right through your body. You're not going to notice it till all of a sudden when you're taking your lap. That's how this thing just zips through things. And it's like 60 pounds. And with the right angle, that thing just goes up and then it just kind of goes soaring down. It's amazing. And I found 2-ounce sinkers work perfect. 3 ounces, it doesn't like 3. It's too heavy. So again, we're talking about these different devices, and I would love, again, I don't know what the weight is on a 10 millimeter wrench versus, you know, other things, or the bag, you know, the arborist bag, because I think that's
About the
heavier
same.
than.
In a bind, I have 100% used a bait casting fishing rod and put a 2-ounce weight on it and just cast that fucker up into the tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
The rod or the actual weight.
The rod when he gets
Goddamn
mad.
rod.
When he's madder than hell, you know what's going to go up there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, you know, the weight didn't get all the way through and over, so he's like, fuck it, and just throws the rod through the tree.
And then it works.
No.
And then it works.
I have a collection of broken rods as well. So
Or that equals the number of failed attempts. Dude. Yeah,
damn it, that was
could
an
do a whole
$80
episode. We could do a whole episode on failures. Just alone.
Has anybody ever used the old what's the thing with the kids back in the 50s used to
slingshot.
slingshot.
Yep.
I tried that and
Maybe on my time.
I had no luck. The sides kept on breaking. Tried, you know, between electrical tape and also, you know, monkey tape, gorilla tape, they just would not hold. Even with a 1-ounce or a 2-ounce sinker, they just were not made unless I had just had too much force bringing it back. It just, I failed at that. So
if you get a good slingshot and you put a spinning reel underneath it, right?
Yep.
You just zip tie the spinning reel to the arm part, right? Then when you shoot it, like the line comes out, and then once you get it on the other side, you could tie your line that you're going to pull back and just reel it in. Yeah, it works really well.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. The problem with the slingshot is you're getting drag from the grass, right? Or that line gets caught in grass. It's not like we're doing this on pavement. I've noticed that. I mean, I'll pull out like 60 feet, and when I remember one time I said I'm gonna get smart with this, and I kind of like made like a loop and a loop and a loop and a loop. It still got caught. It just wasn't taking off like how I wanted it to just to go.
So
Yeah, trust me. Try a spinning reel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's figure out how we can bring lawn darts back and use them as way to be able to, send our line through the tree. Because I think, not that Izzo's idea isn't like an old fashioned idea, but let's bring it like a little more current. Lawn darts were kids, like we could get injured and bleed to death, but we could still continue the game on. So, that I'm thinking, make them a little more heavier. We got to come up with some solution. It would be perfect. I bet you we have an audience for it.
There is, there's some old people who still have those in the metal tip ones. You know that.
You can find them in every yard sale around New England.
Right, exactly.
So then you would have to have like an antenna raising party where you'd have to have the game, right, with the circles.
Yeah.
He who leaves the circle the first is the loser.
Who has to go stand on the other side?
Dude, this is a gold mine. This is perfect.
Well, you set the circle on the other side of the tree, and it's whoever gets the dart in the circle but has the line the highest up is the winner.
Yeah.
Yes.
or you once launching, you run to that circle, and therefore if you catch your lawn dart, you even get bonus. Because you got to have the bleeding effect, otherwise you're not working, right?
Right. Got to have a first aid. It's no fun. It's no fun if you're not pulling out at least a Band-Aid. I mean, that's how I look at it sometimes.
Well, you're not working hard enough if you don't whip out a tourniquet. Is that
right?
What
Well, I mean, that's the extreme. That's the extreme bonus points, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I got plenty of tourniquets in every single kit. So.
Just say you are overstocked. You have not had a moment. I guarantee Paul's going to be super giddy and excited when that day comes, because he's like,
dude.
Okay.
I'll be like, hold on, let me go to the back seat of the truck and get the medical stapler, and I'll staple that shit shut for you.
And stop the bleed. You got to stop the bleed kits too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Everything.
Quick clot, yeah, quick clot, and
Burning quick clot.
yeah.
That is why, one, I hang around with Paul often, and two, the other reason is like he's always the instigator of pushing everybody. Hey, yeah, sure, go ahead, try it, because he knows he gets the opportunity to take that stuff out and use it.
While he walks to get the first aid kit. Yep.
It's like, hold my beer. I got to go get the first aid kit. I'm right back.
Oh my god.
I mean, if we had to, I got suture kits in every first aid kit as well. So
Really?
we'll make it really painful.
Or you can just put a thumb in it.
Put a thumb in it.
Good.
Bring out the super glue.
Super glue.
That's my
That's right.
favorite.
Super glue. That's
Yeah,
right.
super glue works well.
It does.
Yep.
That
Super
duct,
glue.
that duct
Awesome.
tape a bandana first, and ace bandage it if you have to, and whatever.
Yep.
Keep on moving. That's what it's all about. Keep on moving.
Yeah, I told that to my son. Literally, he reached into a drawer, and like my wife had one of those stupid like cucumber slicers, and the blade was a little higher, and he sliced the top of his roof with his finger. And like the first thing I'm like,
Ow.
oh, he's like bleeding a lot. He's like, do I need stitches? I'm like, you a wuss. You don't need stitches. Just put some super glue on the end of the damn thing, wrap it, and finish doing the dishes. That's a real
but
man.
that had to hurt.
Ooh.
Hey, oh yeah, the slicer. Those things are like the bitch of all time. I mean, I can't tell you how much I hate those things. I can't find a place far enough on the end of the earth to put it, because it's just like it always will find the tip of your finger, no matter how it's situated. It's like it
I
could be
was
wrapped in.
stupid at home ec and did the same thing with the
Oh.
slicers.
Oh
With
my
the
God.
slicers. And I went, oh, I wonder how sharp it is. And I just touched it.
Oh,
I'll never do that
I don't know how we
again.
got here.
wow. The cheese is turning colors now.
Oh, cheese,
Don't touch
ham.
That's a
the
Gruyere.
stove.
How do you like that roast beef? A little on the bloody side? A little rare?
Oh, that
I thought I
hurts
could shave
so
my nail
bad.
off. Oh God, yeah.
Hey,
I don't know
you
how
can
we
always-
got here.
You could always tell a good butcher. If he didn't have a little
Really? How did we go
or
here?
whatever, that butcher was not a veteran. He was not a veteran. Are there
It's
even
how-
any butchers out there anymore? You know what I mean? Oh my god! Oh my god! You
It's
got the
like
greatest.
for all of us generation, how we could tell the really good shop teachers whether or not they had all 10 fingers kind of thing.
Yes, correct,
Exactly.
correct. Yep.
Yep. Or how many burns the electronics teacher had on his hand, or, whether or not he knew how to solder properly. Anyway, we got to bring this back to something like ham radio focused. Like, I don't know where we've got so far. This is like what? This is the HRC all over again.
All right. So real quickly, I'm gonna play POTA tomorrow.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm doing more in the late morning or early afternoon because my daughter threw a boomerang. I got to go pick her up tomorrow, but from college. But there's a POTA park 20 minutes from her school. And I
Yeah.
love going up there because anytime I got to go up there, sometimes I leave a little early, or if I drop them off, whatever. So I'm waiting for a text message from her. Sunday, our plans don't start till like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So that means Saturday night, go to bed at a normal time, maybe 10, 11, midnight. Get up and go hit something close to me for Sunday.
Yep.
And
All right.
so that's the plan, and I'm keeping it loose because every time I get down hardcore, Murphy's Law just likes to, punch me in the
Take it
face.
over.
Old Murphy.
Yeah, good old Murphy. So
No,
because
I-
originally,
Oh, go ahead, Iz.
no, because originally I was going to go out to Rhode Island.
Oh,
Oh,
That was the game plan. And as a matter of fact, I was all over Google on Tuesday and Thursday. I was bouncing back between the POTA site, the POTA map, and Google, and finding out, because now for some of these beaches in Rhode Island that are parks, East Beach,
Mhm.
and I forgot the other one, Charleston Beach. It's a great time. Again, there's no tourism right now. So that would be a good time, I think, to kind of like, I'm just here to look at the waves, and all 15 minutes later, there's an antenna up. And who the heck cares, right? Where
Yep.
if you try doing that in June, July, and August, people are gonna like, what the hell are you doing? And where's your Rhode Island pass and all this other stuff? But that's okay though. She threw me for a boomerang, but that's okay. I've she comes first. Kids always come first. So, but
now I bet with the kids when they're applying to college, the first question instinctually is going to be, "What's the tuition?" But then
no,
I wonder how long it was until you
Where's the
went and
POTA
you
park?
looked up on the POTA map to see where
It
the
was-
parks were.
no. The first thing. So when she went, the first thing, because I remember hitting the park, but this is like when she was in high school. So when she said this is where she wants to go and she got accepted, I got excited, not only for her, in
Yeah.
all seriousness, of course, I got very excited for her, but not to be selfish. I'm like, this is great because there's a POTA park 20 minutes from you and this and that. And at the time, the kids had a Discord channel, a ham radio club, the engineering group had, but they don't do it, or they just graduated and the channel was just sitting there. But I got excited because I remember one time I loaded up my truck with everything, and I tried finding these kids. I tried finding out where they were. I went down to security, the PD, and no one knew anything about this. They showed me the building, but they were all gone. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails. When my son got acceptance back in December, he's going to the same school as her. Two things ran through my mind: more POTA in that area, and 3, I don't have to buy a different university shirt. It's all one. It's all one stuff
Right.
now. So that's more, which is now
That's more money for masks.
more money for
Yeah.
POTA and stuff and everything. Exactly. So
One-stop
No.
shopping.
one-stop
Yep.
shopping. No, I love my kids. I'm happy for them and everything, but it's just fun for me to, like we did this like 3 weeks ago. He had this requirement. He had to go up there and drop him off. And I had like 90 minutes all to myself. And there I am in the pouring rain, playing with the ATAS and just having fun, and chasing things. And it was really fun to try something new, and everything. So that's
But-
what's about this hobby, right?
well,
Yep.
so dude, but you have it right. So like, here's my thing. My son just graduated from JWU down Johnson and Wales down in Rhode Island. And so like his sophomore year, when I finally got kind of back into ham radio and whatnot, like we were going down to visit him, and literally same mode. Like first thing was like, okay, where's the food? And it's usually barbecue, something good, good place. And then the second thing is, where's the next park? And my wife was 100% on board with this. And I was like, this is like perfect. I was like super stoked because literally she could go, enjoy the park scene and I could go activate, and I could activate like for 2 hours. And I can't tell you how many times when I go down to Rhode Island, I have never seen so many people from so many parks just wander up randomly and like start, like I'm already at 100 QSOs and it's like a half hour in, and they want to have like a 45-minute conversation about how good old the days of ham radio were with tubes and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm trying to juggle both, but it was just like, it was awesome to go because I was literally, my wife's like, oh, we're gonna go visit our son down in Rhode Island. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have all the gear with me and we're gonna go. And so, yeah, it's a selfish, it's one of those, selfish
my son was
pleasures, as they say.
different. My son was different because he originally did not want to go to the same school as his sister. He likes to walk in his own path. I get it, but every time
you're going because
every time he mentioned a school, if I couldn't think of a park, like he was talking about New York State, he was talking about some stuff in Rhode Island, URI. And I'm like, but wait a minute, URI, they're so, again, I know where those parks are. He was talking about stuff in Massachusetts. So here I am thinking, okay. And there I was the next day at work getting on the Google, looking at the nearest park to where these universities are and stuff. It's am I a bad father?
No, you're number one dad hero. You're just that's the way I look at it. Now, I'm gonna jump in here. Hametics. Okay. Do I have to have any clothing on under the overcoat? Is the question I really have. Am I going to get arrested when I'm at this park? At this park, am I also going to get arrested? Do I have to record that?
if you stay inside the vehicle, there's less chance, right?
Well, but then
that's why your ATAS. That's why your ATAS is permanently mounted on your truck. See?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part
There's
of it.
a guy with a ham radio and a trench coat flashing people.
I'm just doing it in CW.
That was not his heavy duty mask.
Oh boy, yes.
Cable stream on Wednesday. Somehow we got off top. Well, we were off topic.
Surprise.
Started talking about the like the Faraday antennas, the Faraday cloth stuff, and I made a joke about I'm going to make the Farathong and start selling that at a convention in the boneyard.
I'm sorry, I don't want 5 watts near my genitals, but whatever. I'm not wearing lead underwear either to compensate.
And Matt's
where's the coax connecting?
And Matt's thinking right now, don't use my antenna for that. Don't use for marketing purposes. Do not use my antenna for that. Use it for something else. It had other intentions.
Anything, please.
or Matt, that goes into private chat only, right? That's
yeah, there are some certain things in this world that we just don't need to develop. Just put that up to the side, put it in the scrap pile for a little while. Maybe we'll make a big hit when I'm dead. All right, so what's people's like when you go to activate? Are you guys big like? I mean, obviously, Sports Parks Weekend obviously entices the idea of like operating for 4 to 5 hours. What's the longest span you've ever operated for?
About 3.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a long stretch. That's a long stretch of. I think, guys, am I right? I think it also depends. What is the band doing for you, or the bands? How are the bands? Respond, people do you got like a good pileup going? Because I just run it as the pile. When the pileup starts to fade, you do a little bit rag chewing, listen at especially if it's a QRP station. I always ask, what are you using for an antenna? I love slowing it down. It slows me down, but after a while, I know, man, I gotta just get up. I gotta just get my happy ass up. Adam K6ARK a long time ago was when he did one of his 1,000 sodas, whatever he does, this camping material. I guess it goes under a sleeping bag. It's like a accordion style kind of. It looks like a big rectangular.
Yeah, it's like a thermarest. It's a camp pad.
A camp pad. I use that, if not under my radio, under my butt. And that just gives that little extra cushion. But like I said, I know after about 90 minutes, 2 hours, I just want to walk, stretch, grab something to drink, whatever. And just, I think we all just need that break, I think, psychologically. Because you're in that zone. I call it the zone. You get in that zone. And then all of a sudden, that's another thing too, guys. Be careful. We talk about visitors coming up to you. I used to carry a little bicycle mirror with me. In between that, or else I'll take my sunglasses off and I'll put them on top of like my go kit, so I can see if anybody is in back of me or coming at me from my blind. I don't like being surprised. I don't like that.
That's a good question. Yeah. Who operates with a full headset? Like you're like for headphones. Do you do that, Izzo, or are you just with speaker?
I have in the past. In the beginning, I did, because I was under the assumption that I need to hear everything and it's going to be best. But now I don't, or I use just the one muff. For the 705, I use just that one muff. But other than that, no, it's the speaker coming out of the radio. But regardless, I don't like it when people approach me from the back or the side. I mean, I would never do that to anybody, regardless. Like, let's say there's a horse or something. I would never. I want to go say hello to the horse. I keep Starlight mints with me. Horses love that sugar. But I would never approach, the horse is tied up to the trailer. I would just never, in the person riding it, whatever, is taking care of it, brushing it down. I would never go up behind them.
Yeah.
You kind of want to announce yourself, but some people don't think like that, right?
No, most people don't think like that.
Well,
I find like that's a lot more common for me, and that's why I stopped using headphones, because people would always come up and like they tap me on the shoulder, or like, and I would just get kind of startled by the process or whatever, and I just figured I'm just going to turn the volume up. It's easier, and then that way they'll just hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's where it's handy to have a Watson.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because Watson lets me know if there's anybody around.
even a rabbit or a squirrel, right?
Yep.
No, seriously, does his attention go up if there's a little 2 or 4-legged creature running around?
Oh, of course. Yeah. He loves rabbits. Like, that's his thing. he will follow his nose to chase a rabbit trail. Like,
So any of you guys else use?
So I think 6 hours was the longest parks on the air.
Wow, you did 6 hours?
Wow.
Holy shit!
With the break, like, did you break in between that, or you just straight through?
Well, no. So I mean, I have to pee every 15 minutes. So it's always a all right. Stand by one, and then I go and I.
Hey, Paul, I've done that in the wintertime. It's natural because everything is contracting. You got to piss, man. It is what it is. There have been many. Hold on, guys. The park ranger is here. I'll be right back. Hold the frequency for me. I have done that. Hit that tree. Come back. Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do because you want to keep. Because I like my frequency. You know what I mean? I got no QRM around me. It's one of those perfect scenarios. You know what I mean?
Didn't dude wipes come from you? Like, it's like kind of like I would have thought adult diapers were the next big thing that Izzo would have in his kit for POTA.
I always have dude wipes with me. There's a story behind that, and I don't know if I want to say it again.
We could do a whole episode on that one.
But yeah,
hey,
I keep them with
you're
me.
You're good, Izzo. I always have dude wipes too.
You have to, man. It's a whole. I get excited. I get so excited when I get these parks. It's like walking into Walmart. I swear, Walmart pumps some certain oxygen into the air that just makes you.
And I jizzed in my pants.
That does not happen at all for me, but so it must be just a common thing. I don't know. Can I have that feeling?
Okay. I'm getting text here. Someone's telling me somebody is watching this. Real quickly, I'll give you the short version of what happened and how this all started. I was at one of my favorite parks. This is a huge park, and I'm away from. There's a pond and a bunch of kids. They're probably 7, 8, 10 years old, and they're fishing and they're grabbing minnows with a net and all this other stuff. They left for lunch. I had to go like crazy. I just had a big sandwich. 20 minutes later, I'm like, uh-oh. I go over to their area because they're not there, and I take care of business. I come back. I'm finding a new frequency, figuring out everything. All of a sudden, the kids come back. All of a sudden, I hear them screaming, "Oh my God, look at this thing. It had to be a bear." They saw what I left and they thought it was a bear scat. Is that the right word?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They thought, and one kid's like, "No, that's a Sasquatch." Oh my. And I am laughing my ass off.
So,
of course I can't say, "Hey, that was me." I can't, you can't claim
Izzo
it.
the Sasquatch.
You can't claim it, but so.
Man, you had me going there for a second. You literally took one puff from your cigarette, and I thought you took your last suck in, and you just exploded because you just disappeared like that, and you were gone. And I was like,
magic.
"Wow, this is cool. How did that happen? I gotta watch this."
So anyway,
I figured Uncle Elon got me, so I'd go pee real quick.
Oh, yeah, not enough. It was literally just like a cut, and you were gone, and there was like all I saw was the cigarette puff, and I was like, "Wow, dude, that's awesome. What effect is he doing on OBS?"
So to those kids, this was about 2 years ago. They probably told that story to their friends, and they're going to remember that for 30 years, and they don't know that was just Izzo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was Izzo.
Here.
Izzo was here.
Gentlemen, I have
my
to
God.
go to dinner, but I have one question. Out of all the five of you, who's going to Nearfest besides Paul? Because I know he's going.
Oh, well, I'll be there.
I'll be here. Yep.
There's 3.
What's that? May 3rd, May 4th?
Second and third.
Second and third.
Friday,
Third.
Saturday. Yeah. You coming, Izzo?
I'm waiting to find out my daughter's last day for classes. It's either that weekend or the following weekend. I'm hoping it's the following weekend because I would like to drive up for the day.
Cool.
I didn't know. While I got you, is a Tuesday? I mean, is a Friday better than a Saturday? Because Saturday's what? Is Saturday's the half day?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So-
Saturday's a half day, but it's. I think it's just as busy or busier.
In the morning it is, and then after
Yeah.
like noontime, everything starts to tail off.
Yep.
Yeah, Saturday afternoons when you get all the free shit.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true too.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I was
so-
thinking maybe again the plan. And Murphy, don't do this to me. I'm talking light here. Thursday night, come up and just grab a hotel. So Friday, I'm already there.
Yeah,
but
camp out.
but it's only I think 3 hours, probably with a 15-minute break or whatever to walk around. In travel time, I think it's only about 3 hours for me. So,
I
Nobody's
think probably
claimed my
pretty close to 3
couch
hours.
yet.
I
what's
was
that,
gonna
Paul?
say you could spoon with Paul. I mean, he's got that option.
I'm a
Yeah,
I'm like
and
with
I've
the
got a
dog.
camper too.
Okay, thanks. Thanks.
Well, okay, so Mike's bringing his camper, right? And Paul
Yep.
will be there. Okay, so you got 2 places to bunk, man. So you should have no problem needing
Right.
to get a hotel.
Tell me and the others about this Ham Fest. What is it? Is it a great regional one? Is it more a little bit local for the
It's a
What's your
very,
opinions?
very large regional.
I wouldn't say large
It's-
regional,
it's,
but
No, that's like
well,
Hamex.
this past
Yeah.
when they moved, it's terrible. I wouldn't say. Let me take that back. It's not terrible, but when it was at Deerfield, it was a whole lot of room. You could move around. You had room. You didn't feel like you were packed in like sardines. This new site, this 4-H fairgrounds,
Yeah,
it
Fairground.
Yeah, New
really
Boston.
feels tight.
oh, I love it, dude.
No, a lot of people like it. Yeah.
My biggest complaint with Deerfield is that there were so many people that spread out so far that you never really got a chance. You spent
That's
more time
true, too.
walking to those locations
Exactly.
than you did trying to enjoy hanging out with people. And it even got to the point where a lot of the commercial vendors were just so spread apart in so many barns that I was like, I couldn't figure out where one I wanted to go to. And it just got to the point was I would rather see it where it's at now, where they have one big commercial barn and everything else is just everybody the traditional, mom and pop
Tailgaters.
sellers.
Right, the
Yeah,
bomb
tailgaters,
pop,
but
I love that stuff. I love.
But the
that
people, like, I mean, the nice part about it is they're actually opening it up to Thursday night. So people can show up Thursday afternoon, camp over Friday, Thursday night, Friday, and then into Saturday. So it's literally like a 3-day camping kind of event. And there's a lot of like, I haven't been there overnight, but I've heard stories from people, and it's been just a blast because it's a lot of like hangout time, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, so
and that's what the other what's the other one in Massachusetts in Marlboro?
Ham-X. Yeah, Ham-X is more commercial.
They're trying to get that going. I went there with that.
They won't.
You don't think so?
They need
won't.
a new venue
Because they need to get out of that stupid hotel. My personal opinion is that hotel is very limiting. We've all been there. It's nice and it solved the problem initially, but like, if anything, they should make the step to go to the convention center, which is literally adjacent to the building. They'd have the whole entire place, everybody be in one location. You'd be able to do everything there, but they don't want to spend the money to do that. And they want to do POTA stuff. And it's like, dude, you have to go literally 45 minutes away to another POTA park. Go find a place like a 4-H, grounds where you can just camp there. And that would be awesome to do Ham-X, kind of style. But
because the one year that I did make it, I bumped into Bean and Ant. And that first night, we sat out in the parking lot. We were like teenagers tailgating.
Sure. I
probably went through 3 cigars, and we talked about everything under. And I really got to know Bean and Ant. And there are Bean, rest her soul, and Ant, great people. And we talked about everything. But what really got me was again that camaraderie. People were coming up, passing through, having a drink, and then leaving. It was really fun, and I wish more Ham Fest could offer that.
That's Near Fest, yeah, for sure.
That's Near Fest. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I mean that's where I bumped into Matt and everybody else. It's good stuff. You out of here, Michael?
Yep, I'm out. I gotta go cook dinner.
No worries.
And hope to see you all at Near Fest next weekend.
We'll turn off the profanity filter next time for you, so you'll be good.
Michael, nice meeting you, man. Nice meeting you, Mike.
Nice meeting you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll catch you later,
again,
guys. Thanks, gentlemen.
Take care.
Always.
Now, Near Fest. If I can't make it in May, they do it again in October, right?
Yeah. The fall
They
one.
do.
The fall one. Is there a
Same
difference between spring and fall? Do you think, as far as crowds, or?
I don't think so. I don't know what you guys feel.
Do the leaf peepers get in the way with the fall stuff? No. Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. That's good.
It's one of those places that I think like you have to stay there because like if you try to get out of the town, like the town is like this podunk little small town with a little like general store. To get to any other like actual like Walmart type places, you have to drive like a half an hour to get to any of those spots. But
listen, I grew up in New Boston, and it's a great town.
It shows. They do. Just kidding. I do.
Is Near Fest on a Friday to Saturday, or is it a Saturday to a Sunday?
Friday, Saturday.
No.
Friday to Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
a little tough to swallow.
People who are camping and purchase the camping tickets, they can show up Thursday at 3 p.m. or later, and you can camp. So I've got my camping pass. I'll be there Thursday, somewhere around 3 p.m. And yeah, I'm just gonna RV it.
Nobody's
have
right.
fun. But, yeah, the leaf peepers in the fall, they all go up north. They don't bother with the southern part of the state.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where what kind of influence they would have with that.
Well, put it this way, I'm going to throw this out there just so we get the audience here. Still, we're going to do a live stream, so we want all you guys to come by Paul's trailer. We're going to be hanging out, just doing stuff and having fun, and we'll be sampling some of the wares. I'm sure everybody will be bringing. So always,
now when is that? Now when are you playing? Is that
that'll be
Thursday
Friday
night or Friday?
That'll be Friday night.
Friday night. Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Friday night's going to be kind of like the core night, and that's when everybody will be there, and Todd, Paul, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Paul will be the hosting accommodation, so he'll have the place to hang out there and whatever else. But yeah, everyone's more than welcome to come by. Say hello, just hang out.
Excellent. It's funny because you when you were talking about Deerfield, I remember when I got licensed and hanging out with some great old timers, and there are a lot of them unfortunately are silent keys, or they're just not playing radio anymore. And I get it, we're all going to get there. but they would talk about Deerfield like it was
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
like I don't know, create any
was
destination
creation,
of your
yeah.
right, from Walt Disney World to Vegas to Aruba, Bahamas. It was their mecca, and they would buy stuff, and if they didn't use it or whatever, they'd bring it back the next year and resell it or whatever, or trade it, horse trade it for something else. And the stories that these guys were talking about, it's fun. And that's why I always ask them, because I like these bigger regional ones. I really like they have, not saying that the little guys don't have it, but sometimes it just you want something new, you want something different.
Well, it's hard in New England to be able to kind of do that stuff, like, and be able to draw a huge crowd without like giving an opportunity for people to stay overnight and do whatever, because then you just start getting the like Nearfest. So I go farther back before Nearfest used to be called Nearfest, used to be called Horse Traders, which is literally kind of where it came from.
Correct.
And
That's
it used to be up north off of 89 and used to take about an hour to get to growing up, but it used to be all the junk. So like when I was a brand new ham and a teenager, I'd go up there and all the guys would be like, oh yeah, you can get your first radio. I'm like, by the time I left there, I'm like, there was nothing new up there. They didn't have any brand new vendors. I was like, I don't want my first boat anchor. I'm like, I'm not going to take home a 200-pound radio to rebuild. I'm like, I want an HT.
Yes, you do. Yes, God darn it, you have this call rite of passage.
No, never gonna happen. Not. We have plenty of people in our club that lives that life. I'll live through them vicariously.
Who was it, Mike? You took a picture, and you had an ICOM 02AT or something in the back.
It's a IC 32AT.
32AT.
Wow.
And I, man, that was bringing back memories of like, oh my God, I remember those older ICOMs and the thumb wheels to change channels, the frequencies. And man, ICOM, that was it, man. That was it. And then I had another one that I got from a flea market. It was from Standard. It was sort of like the ICOMs, but it had a little better receiver on it. And man, I loved it. Again, it was one of those, how when you have your favorite HT and you carried it everywhere. And when, of course, now getting batteries is a lot easier. But back then, man, it was just so hard to get a battery, an extra battery and everything. So,
well, fortunately, a lot of that, and I got a couple old HTs. That's one of them. And I use that every week. I do. I love it. And I'm lucky where I am. I can hit most of the repeaters I want to hit just from an HT, whether it's out on the deck or the front porch or whatever. So it definitely gets a lot of use. But some of those older HTs, a lot of them, they'd easily take 12 volts right in, like the barrel connector, and which makes it really
I forgot about
easy.
that. Yeah,
But
BNC, remember the BNC antennas?
it has. I have the original Icon BNC on it. And
no, there was no such thing as SMA back then.
Yeah.
It was all BNC.
Yeah. And that I bought that for like, I want to say like $40 at my club's auction. It was coming from a Silent Key. And, I had to buy a new battery for it because those old NiCads, I mean, that HT was built in the late 80s, early 90s. And so, spend $25 maybe, or I don't know what it was, get a new battery. And
hey, I don't want to insult you, but I'm going to laugh. I used to laugh at all the guys who would have those older HTs. Mm-hmm. They'd have that telescoping antenna.
Oh,
and I'd be like, wait a minute. The weight of that telescoping antenna is going to break the housing of the BNC. And you always knew guys who did, because their signal was always choppy, either because the battery wasn't holding up because the voltage was dropping so fast, or they had the antenna problem. And they thought by having the bigger antenna, the bigger the better. And it, after a while, like, no, man, go with a J-pole. That's the way to go, if you're going to do something. Yep. But
have you seen my wiener?
Yes.
It's not as girthy as the POTA 33A.
There it is. There's the comeback.
The grouch is right. The grouch is right.
Right.
The grouch is right.
There's no 33H.
Mike, do you remember do you guys remember when Realistic Radio Shack came out with their 220 HT and their 440 HT? You guys remember that back in, I think, the early 90s?
I remember the Realistic brand, but I've only been a ham for a couple of years. like especially like for 220 or anything. That doesn't ring a bell, but
They also had the 10-meter radio.
I
And
think I've seen some of those.
If you
The old
opened it
Radio
up,
Shack 10 meters.
Yep. And because they were going after, I think Uniden. I think Uniden wanted, because Uniden had the market for a 10-meter radio, but some of them were locked down where you really could not do a mod to go into 27 megahertz, and some guys figured it out, and that was always fun. But no, that was Radio
but
Shack
back in those mods back in those days. That once they figured out once they got the schematics, they could figure out what resistor was causing it. Now it's like the resistor's like at this microscopic thing that you have to have 100 power on your glasses to be able to see, to be able to get in the little hole, to be able to break the connection to make it Mars moddable.
I won't do a mod today. I probably the last 10 years, maybe more, I refuse to do a mod on a radio because I have learned from smarter people than me, and I don't understand it. Maybe it's on the extra test, and we're not going to go there right now with the stuff, please. But I have learned you do a mod, I think you change radio sensitivity and other features of that radio of how it's works properly. Something just tells me, because I have mods that I've had on other radios. All of a sudden, something quirky is just, it goes into a different world. And so I fear, listen, if I need a public safety radio, I have a public safety radio. I don't care. I'll put 2 or 3 right here in front of me. I no longer want one radio that does it all. I really, really don't. Except for the 705, but it came out that way. The 705 has that, along with 7300 has, certain things that you can listen to. You can listen to broadcast radio. The 705, you can listen to aircraft if you want. You can do other things with it. But that's how it came out of the factory.
That's an interesting thing. I have not to my settings, I have not programmed any aircraft bands. I have not programmed any other radios on any of my radios. They're all just set up for ham radio specific. How many of you guys actually run, with those frequencies in your HTs and mobiles?
I've listened to the airband, and there's a part of me that wants a cheap HT that will get decent airband receive, because I'm not far from the airport. And we regularly get the guard copters flying over our house and everything. And there's been many videos I've shot on the back deck where I've had to edit out, and do a retake because then, a chopper flies over or something. But I think it'd just be neat to just have on as background noise. That said, I've programmed in the marine frequencies when I'm out on lakes. And when we were doing a family vacation, we rented a boat and we were bringing the kids around and tubing and everything else like that. And it hit me towards right when we were coming back from Puerto Rico. I was like, damn it, I should have put in some of the marine frequencies just so I could monitor or listen being right on the ocean. I've had the experience of listening on the lake, and it's not much, it was more of just like a preventative thing, and program in and there's a ton of them, but it's just a handful of the ones that were for emergencies, things like that, Coast Guard. But yeah, that's something I need to do. It was one of my big takeaways. Coming back from Puerto Rico, are the things I wish I did on that trip, and that was program in the marine ones. But it depends. If you're by large bodies of water, Great Lakes or coasts, I think it makes sense. If you're not, then probably doesn't matter for that.
And the listening, I will tell you from person, because I'm a coastal town. For Long Island Sound, with stuff coming in and out of the Atlantic and going, the transit of going, from Block Island and the islands of the Atlantic over into New York City for stuff. It is amazing when you listen to the various Coast Guard channels and some of the public channels. It is amazing how some people use a radio and the language and just the whole, I've never witnessed anything on lakes. But I will tell you, the intercoastal waters near me, it is amazing. Some of the sweetest, nicest people. And other times, it's very similar to ham radio of, hey, you're stepping on me. What are you doing? I'm waiting for my father's boat and this and that. And dude, all these channels you have, I mean, it's once again, I have learned we complain about what we hear on the ham bands, and some people who get very nasty with us. Like it could happen this weekend. Hey, I got a net coming up in 30 minutes, and we're holding the frequency. We know all these stories. You hear it also on the Coast Guard channels. Aviation obviously is a whole different world. It's a whole different type of communications. The GMR stuff is totally different, but it's I have found sometimes the CB channel is much nicer to listen to versus the coastal Coast Guard stuff.
Yeah,
I should say Coast Guard. The Coast Guard channels, no relationship to the Coast Guard themselves. But.
Yeah, and just the thing to mention with the Marine frequencies and everything, and this would tie into GMRS and MERS and stuff. But that's one, and I jokingly, unofficially declared April Baofeng Appreciation Month, and
I bought one,
and so I've been using mine every single day. I called out on a 220 repeater today, with my tri-band one. I'm using them every single day. But that's at least a nice thing about that radio. Open it up. And again, when we did that family vacation on Keuka Lake, we were renting a boat. My son Ben, he's got his General. We both, know how to operate Fangs, and we opened them up. We programmed in the Marine frequencies, the key ones. Never had to transmit on them. But the first thing we did when I got the boat is he stayed back at the camp. I went out and we were seeing like kind of what the range was we could get on 5.2 simplex just with, the Baofangs. And if that thing goes overboard, I'm not worried. $20 is $20, right? But we were able to open up and just have that as a backup. We had FRS radios for the family and stuff, and that were waterproof, just simple Radtel things I got on Amazon just to, mess around with. But it was nice being able to easily program in and if there ever was an emergency and I was stranded out with the boat, knowing that I had that option without having to spend a couple $100 on a Marine radio for a rental.
Somebody's always listening too, Mike. There's a lot of sandbaggers out there, including all of us, right? We're always listening.
Yep.
But what gets me is some of the maritime guys, the fishermen. It just takes, one guy keys up the radio. How's it biting? How are the blues or whatever biting today? And then someone makes the off-colored joke about what's biting. And then it just goes from there and there and there. And you're like, oh my God, this is Coast Guard. This is, channel, whatever. Not 60. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's not something sometimes you want the kids to listen to, but as adults, we could always use a good laugh.
So on my my HTs and my mobile radio, I have the National Guard, local National Guard frequencies programmed in. I have the DOT frequencies programmed in, and then I have 9 and 16 for Marine, and then I have I think 5 or 6 GMRS frequencies, and it's just so that I can scan, and while I'm driving around the state, sometimes you'll hear DOT and they'll be like, oh, we got an accident on 93 North just before 89, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, all right, well, I'm going to avoid that shit.
Yes.
You get off the highway and you go around it, but I also got a CB in my truck. And, I'll listen to the CB and it's almost guaranteed, right? Truckers will never say anything on Channel 19 until there's a traffic jam. And then they'll be like, this stupid freaking jackass in a four-wheeler did this, and now they're wrecked, and now everybody's rubbernecking. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know.
Well, you know what it is, too? The guys who are getting paid by the mile, now they've slowed down. They're the angry ones. The guys who are getting paid by the hour, they don't care. So it all depends, how the trucker is being paid, whether it's commission load or whatever. Marine, something for you to think of. If you guys got a lot of bridges, channel 13, you can hear the bridge traffic.
The bridge one,
22, and they've also now added a new identifier. 22 Alpha is now 1022. If you go to the Coast Guard website, you're going to see an alpha tag of all the new radios coming out. It's going to show the new. It's basically the frequency is the same. It's still carrier squelch. They're still running it wide, but there's that, and there was something else. I forget the fishing. I call them the fishing channels. There's just like 5 or 6 of them, and like I said, depending on what's going on, you can hear some very interesting chatter, between the fishermen and what's going on. Who's hangry, who's happy. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, they're just like sad hams and happy hams here. Just a different frequency.
Hey guys, so let we don't want to butt up against Ham Radio 2.0's happy hour, and I'm sure a couple other things are going on that we want to obviously swing people that way to give
absolutely
them some love. But I got a couple of kind of quick speed round POTA related questions I want to throw at you and see how you guys come back with some answers here. So again, there we go, Ham Radio. Well, what are you drinking?
Oh, he showed it earlier.
Did he show it earlier? Okay.
Yeah.
It's Island Park.
Ooh, nice.
Island Park 12. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, no, I'm
show.
the mead today. Yeah, I'm just finishing off the mead.
I'm just
good.
there. It is. I'm just good.
The moonshine.
Are you really?
The Thousand Islands.
All right, I must be the designated driver tonight because this is just Canada Dry ginger ale.
Hopefully, it's not the salad dressing there, Mike. But yeah.
Rizzo's going to get us home.
Yeah, I'll get you home.
All right. Well, so we're gonna do a quick, rapid fire round, and so, I'll throw out the question there. Quick answers. Don't sit there and ponder and think. Obviously, we'll start with Paul and go down through Mike. So I got 6 questions. All right. So if you could only do one, and these are all POTA related, if you only could do one, which would you choose? Activate or Hunter? Go, Paul.
Activate.
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 Activate. I'm hungry to activate.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well. All right. QRO, QRP.
Kuro.
Oh, you're whole delaying.
He had to think. Did you see his face? His
Demoted.
His face said it all.
Izzo, go.
QRP. I'm sorry, QRO.
Okay.
QRP. I like the challenge.
Right,
Wow. Okay. All right. And here's all of our favorites: vertical or wire.
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 No. I'm just pick one.
Oh, we're stumping him.
I the wire. I like multi-band.
Yeah, but if the bands are, let's say Saturday, there's like no noise, no wind speed. Let's just say it's like a fisherman. It's like fishing. Drop the hook in without any worms or bait in your. Would you use the vertical?
Yeah.
Do you find?
Totally. I would use a vertical all day for me.
I mostly use the 17-foot telescoping whips on the car, like pop it on 20 or the coil for 40. If I'm just going out for an hour or less and I'm going to do one band, but if I was going to go out for a couple hours, that's when I want to put up an off-center fed or an end fed and be able to hop between 20 and 40 and so like that's what I like about the end feds or off center feds is being able to just push a button, change frequencies easily, or even a random wire. But then the verticals, it's more like if just a quick activation, I know where I'm going to be operating. I can, set it up, and quarter wave is awesome. But I go back and forth. Like it's hard to pin me down on anything.
Oh, I don't know where to go with that one. All right, fine. All right, going along here, Mike. No pondering. Just go. Build your own battery or buy.
Oh, buy.
Build it.
I've built, but I buy. Yeah.
Buy.
Oh, my Bio-N, buy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, interesting,
I
Paul.
built-
I was
but-
surprised with the build, man. Wow, interesting.
I built the Denko on Kyle's.
We all have.
live
Yeah,
stream.
right.
And
But I built my own case though. I built my case around it though.
I
Okay,
bought my case.
but battery directly. We're talking everyone
Battery,
buy. All right,
battery
interesting.
directly.
Okay. All right. Quick activation or 4-hour of activation? When I mean quick activation, I'm talking about like less than an hour.
Oh, 4 hour.
Mike, you're
hour.
you're-
Left. Yeah, I'm in and out.
You're acting like a woman.
I got
Come
things
on.
to do.
4 hour one. I like making contacts.
I think this weekend I'm going to be doing 90-minuters, maybe 2
Not this
hours.
weekend, just in general, Izzo.
Oh, just in general? Oh, I love 4 hours. No, 4 hours. I'm
Okay.
just like Matt. I want to get in my groove, and I want to. Yeah, I'm going to work every band and everybody and DX, local, whatever, ground wave. I love working ground wave guys on 20 meters, 10 meters. It's fun. It's fun when somebody's
You're
like,
a huge embarrassing failure.
No, we're not.
All right, here we go. Last 2 questions, guys. Come on, let's just go right off the cuff. You should have this already locked in, knowing your style.
On,
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
You're not gonna do the ham radio one? This is my favorite. Come on.
No.
No.
Oh, Uncle Leon cut you out.
Uncle Leon,
Oh,
put it down.
bummer. Oh, that was my favorite.
no.
So you're gonna cue it up
You
again.
want to see my ham radio?
No.
No. I love that one.
That's good. I like that.
All right, here we go. 705 or 891.
891.
705.
891.
Hey,
I'm like, 705. I need to have it now.
All
I
band,
haven't-
all mode. Next question.
I haven't decided for 891 or my 7300. I haven't decided. 7300 hasn't seen light.
No,
The
7300, 705. 705.
Oh, 7300.
Then 7300 wasn't a choice. 705 or 891.
On a different stream.
Then the 891. Then there we
Okay.
go. For a QRO, yes.
What'd you call Matt?
Oh, I said he's on a different stream.
No, I know he was on a different stream, but what was your choice?
Oh, 891.
Okay, all right.
This is not Clubhouse.
Oh, this is not Clubhouse.
This is not Clubhouse.
Corporate says so. Speaking of corporate,
Started with the music. Started with the great music that was started this show. This
pretty
stream.
much. All right, and the last one: tuner or resonant antenna?
Resonant.
Resonant.
Tuner for
President.
me.
Mike, you have a gun against your head because it's like resonant. I must
I
choose
love
resonant.
the Rybakoff, but yeah, but more often.
That's
than
why.
not,
That's why we are not mentioning any antennas outside of Reliance here because he's official non-sponsor of tonight's show.
Sponsor, yep.
All right. Well, cool.
Hey,
Well,
when you know, right, Matt. When you know,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
But Matt's
All right.
the only other one wearing a red shirt today. I just wanted to
I know,
point that
right?
out.
Well, but dude, I have to tell you, in in Star Trek world, you guys are the ones that get bumped off. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it looks like red versus black. You guys got black, we got red.
Yep.
No, but it's Friday. You're supposed to wear a red shirt on Friday.
Yeah,
Who told you
everyone
red shirt
knows
on
that.
Friday?
What?
All the
It's-
kids in the
it-
school do
all right.
that.
All right, listen. It's
You on drugs?
it's Red Shirt Friday for Remember Everyone Deployed.
Yep.
Oh, well, then I'll give. Yeah.
Ah.
Then
Then
next
I'm gonna
time, send out a
change.
freaking
I'm gonna
memo,
change.
my friend. Once again, back to this whole communications thing. You know, the hobby. You know, I know you suck at
I'm
it.
terrible at communications.
Don't we have a Discord
100%.
channel for this stuff? Don't we have a Discord
we
channel?
do. That's just another. You know, I have to sit in front of a keyboard and type. All right. Well, we're getting up, close to the top of the hour here. So, let's just kind of do a quick round here. What is, folks, just go ahead, list your channel, what might be going on, or, obviously, for Izzo, who doesn't have a channel, but he is HRC, feel free to throw in anything there. We'll start with Matt.
All right. Well, this weekend I'm doing a Parks on the Air with the Ham Radio Club, kind of like what Mike's doing, but instead of doing what was it? What were you calling it? POTA?
POTA Meetup.
Academy. Yeah, I'm
POTA
calling
Academy.
it POTA Adventures, where we're going to be doing it multiple times a month, and it's starting tomorrow,
Nice.
Saturday at 11 o'clock. So trying to get new hams in there, and I'll be filming that, putting it online, and hopefully get some people interested in POTA. So look for us. I think Park 8902, US 8902. Even if I'm not calling, hopefully a newbie's out there calling. Just be gentle on them, and hopefully everyone has a great weekend. So that's pretty much the latest for me. And I'll be at
Cool.
Nearfest.
Awesome. Are you guys using a custom call sign or just any call signs?
we were going to do the club call sign, but I'm just going to set the antenna up and the radio, bang out a few with my call sign, and then, everyone's call sign. I'm going to log them and then help them get the logs up, or people are going to start emailing them and going, well, hey, where's the log? Because that always happens.
Oh, yeah. There's always a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get a copy of the log, please?
I'll be setting up people's POTA accounts, so helping them get it up.
Make sure I get credit.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Cool. All right. How about you, Izzo?
Catch me on Clubhouse, keeping it quick. Be in the parks tomorrow, Sunday morning, and go back to work Monday. And then next week, I'm going to try to do something on Saturday, too. So,
Very cool.
Getting back in the swing of things here.
That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, looking forward to you. We'll make sure to get you. I already have you on Hammer Alert, so I'm sure we'll be hearing you hitting the airwaves there.
I got all you guys. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, you won't hear me. I'll be hunting for sure, but definitely we'll make sure I try to work you from the mobile there. Awesome. All right. Well, how about you, Mike?
I'm looking forward to POTA tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier with the club, I'm going to be slammed with work and stuff the next week. So it's not going to be pretty. I don't know how soon it'll be till I have another video out, but I'm going to tease something real quick. I'll put up an image on the screen. Let's see how efficiently I can do this. There it is. All right. I just ordered these. They're on their way. I don't know if our next live stream is going to be before or after Dayton.
Did you put it up yet, Mike? I don't see it.
Nope. Here it is. The stickers are on the way. So if I see you at Hamvention,
Mike, you got a link to buy those online?
Nope.
I'll buy a couple.
I don't worry. I'll put a few aside.
I'll send you the $20.
So yeah, there you go. Yep. I get a kick out of this. So just
$20 is $20.
So yep.
Absolutely.
Now that I've done this, I have no idea how to undo it. I'm not good with the stream wad here, so anyway.
Or stream turd, whatever you want to call it. Stream turd. All right. Well, how about you, Mr. Grouch there?
All right. So for those that don't know, the Grouch in New Hampshire is my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Feel free to join. Be a member. Why not? I've got a video dropping tomorrow, which is my KV4P ham radio HT build. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to Nearfest. That's going to be a ton of fun. And then after Nearfest, I am beginning my route west. And so I'm gonna have 2 stops in New York. Hopefully, one of those 2 stops I can meet up with Mike, depending on his work schedule. I'm gonna make a stop in Ohio where I'm gonna meet up with Chris Bricker, and we're gonna go do a park.
Excellent.
Then I'm gonna meet up with Carlos. He was kind enough to invite me to his residence, so I'm gonna stay the overnight at Carlos's residence before I go to the Chicagoland Skydiving Center, where I will be getting my my A license for skydiving. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Of course, there's going to be a lot of video footage, so you'll have to be patient with me as I go through and edit all that. But it'll all come out, and there's going to be live streams, live stream at Nearfest, and I'm going to have to do a live stream from the drop zone just
because you have to.
So
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, I got lots of cool things.
Well, definitely looking forward to it. And so those that haven't figured it out, I'm N1JUR. You can overhead on my channel. Yeah, I got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. I've got to finish a batteries charging station that I kind of custom built because I was tired of charging all of my freaking camera equipment and batteries and looking for cables everywhere. So I built this kind of custom, base where I drop everything from an activation or whatever, and literally just kind of plug it in and walk away. And then when I'm ready to kind of reload, I just drop my bag down, drop stuff in, and so I'm kind of testing it out and enjoying it. Kind of tweaking it as I need to, and so that'll be coming out soon. But having some fun. We obviously have Live Free and Ham. Todd wasn't with us tonight, which I don't know what the hell. Well, why wasn't he here? I don't remember.
Baseball.
Maybe he forgot. Baseball, probably.
Yeah, I remember him saying he might try to stop in, but
okay. So, yep. Yeah. He's busy studying for his extra. We'll say that instead. So yeah, all good there. Having fun over at Live Free and Ham. So if you haven't, head over there and check us out. We've been having some good, good conversations, and having some fun, as always. So yeah, like Paul said, we're going to be over at Nearfest soon. So, stay tuned for that. And, you'll see folks like Matt and hopefully Don, and maybe we can convince Mike to come out that way. Cause I think he's got a, job thing going on,
That's
we'll
what
see.
I was asking, if it's Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday. If it was Saturday, Sunday, I might be able to make it, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We got to get you out here one of these times. I mean, you're literally New York. I know New York has that border patrol where they don't allow New Yorkers to cross over into Vermont or New Hampshire. So we'll have to work kind of those deals out. But either way, all good. So exactly.
I'll be sure to bring out some good beers and some good chowder. So.
There's only one good shout out. Do not use that word red whatsoever. Do not say
Thank
that.
you.
I will come over there and personally, dump it on you. But anyway, yeah. So trust me, Walt even agreed that the white chowder is way better than any of the red stuff.
Thank you.
And he's got the subs to prove it. Anyway, so. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to throw the link here in the chat. So if you have a chance and you got some more time in your YouTube schedule, head on over to HR2O's live stream there, and go support them. Tell them we sent you, and let them know, we were just saying hello. And so with that, as always, guys, appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat. It was awesome to see so many people hanging out with us, and we always enjoy the support. And thanks again for just hanging out with us, Northeast Ham Radio guys. And with that, I'm going to say 7-3.
7-3, everyone.